Stratford High School is located in the heart of Nashville, Tennessee. It's an urban school that serves a diverse population of students. As seen in many urban schools around the country, Stratford has its share of challenges, but also many successes. A few years ago, the school adopted a small learning community strategy, which allows teams of teachers to work together to improve their teaching, student learning, and the entire culture of the school. Stratford is in the beginning stages of this process, but they are beginning to see success in many areas, particularly among their math and technology teachers.
Part of that can be contributed to teachers working together, because this is a huge problem to solve. And if we don't collaborate, you'll have islands of success in your building. And I think the collaboration allows teachers to share best practices so that we can have success throughout the entire building.
The principal encouraged the entire faculty to develop a supportive work environment to address every facet of their job. However, it plays out in different ways across the content areas in the school. The technology team, for example, received funding from the Nashville School District and the National Science Foundation to start the Stratford Information Technology Academy. This group of teachers strives to provide abundant resources to students who have shown an interest in pursuing technology as a career. But several things had to take place in order for these successful collaborations to begin to develop.
It takes a group like this interacting, as well as administration supporting you, guidance supporting you, because if we don't have all the units in place, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Persistence is also key.
And it's so easy to start a project like this and quit because you do not give it a chance to work.
So when you come up with a new idea, it's very easy for people to lean back and say, oh, well, this too will pass. Let's just wait till this idea goes, and let's just make, before we move on to the next idea, and just kind of roll through it. But small learning communities and professional learning communities, well, they work.
We know it works. We've seen results.
Thank you, our best.
The math teachers at Stratford have also been very successful in developing a collaborative approach. But collaboration has its challenges.
Conflicts do arise. That's part of the process. You have 5 individuals and 5 ideas and 5 points of view, and we're not going to always agree. And so part of it is learning a consensus that, all right, we're here for the purpose to educate the child and put yourself aside.
This has, I don't want to use the word force, but I'm going to force us to collaborate, whether we wanted to or not. And after you get through that first 6 months of it, it's not so bad. But breaking that ice in that first 6 months is not an easy thing to say. We're sharing ideas, we're sharing the principle of teaching to our students.
Sharing can be a challenge. However, to professionals such as teachers who are accustomed to working alone in their classrooms, sharing can also seem risky when help is needed.
Owning up to needing help, and that's hard for people to do sometimes. We're all in our little sort of silos, and we all think we're doing a good job, and then when we get together we find other strategies and realize that there are other ways.
I know that I lack some of the technology skills, so I can go to Janet or Newt and say, can you help me?
Building and continuing to emphasize trust among the team members is vital to this strategy's success.
And after a while, that's when the trust and that line to someone that feels the same way you do, that's an open line. You just can't stay in your room with the door closed and saying, I have to do this all by myself. Education has come a long way. It's not there like that anymore. You don't have to stay in here and be scared to talk to somebody.
Openness in the classroom allows teachers to learn from one another. It fosters a reciprocal relationship.
Getting that news to the young teachers that you don't have to do it by yourself, and the old teachers, just be open to learning. I learn something new every year. And I love new teachers because they're coming in with all this fresh knowledge.
The relationships forged by these teams have strengthened the resolve of the teachers at Stratford.
I'm just excited with this group because it's just, I don't know, it's just, we're family. I mean, I just love it because I know I can count on them and they can count on me. And
sometimes the job can definitely be overwhelming, but I am encouraged by the professional educators in this building. The very best thing that we can do to improve our educational system is to empower our teachers to be the very best professionally, and collaboration is a way to do it.
We've seen it in action. Now let's hear
from some of the people who are actually involved in this work at Stratford High School. And we're going to also hear from others who are involved in similar work across the state of Tennessee. As we think about moving along the continuum of student achievement and success through collaborative efforts, it is my pleasure to introduce this distinguished panel to you today. We have, at my immediate left, Brenda Elliott Johnson, and I have to get used to the Johnson part. She is the executive principal of Stratford High School. Next, we have Star Herman, who is and just raise your hand so the audience can know who you are. Star Herman is the director of the Small Learning Communities for Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. And I skipped Janet Wallace, who is the technology teacher and Small Learning's community coach at Stratford High School. Next to Star, we have Dr. Connie Smith, who is the Executive Director of School Innovation, Improvement, and Accountability at the Tennessee Department of Education. And next to Dr. Smith, we have Dr. Steve Moats, who is the Senior Research and Development Specialist at Advantia. Advantia is a research and education research organization, and Steve directs the Tennessee Exemplary Educator Program. And next to Steve, we have joining us from the institutions of higher ed, Dr. Vivian Morris, who is a professor and assistant dean of faculty development at the University of Memphis. So let's thank all of our panels for being here today, and let's begin our discussion. And we're going to talk about the efforts of the educators from Stratford High School to improve teacher quality and bring in others as well. And I'm going to start with Brenda. Last year, Brenda, Stratford was taken off of the list of schools at risk for takeover. What role did teachers working together play in this turnaround effort?
I think teacher collaboration played a huge role in that, even starting from the point of taking our school improvement plan and really coming up with some clear goals, some smart goals, some realistic goals of things that we could accomplish, and planning together and measuring those goals. So I think that was the first thing. But more importantly, I would say in our math department, which was the area where we needed to have our greatest growth, those math teachers getting together, collaborating, developing benchmark assessments, meeting on a weekly basis to see where students were not achieving, and then to share ideas or best practices of how they were able to help young people master specific benchmarks. So I think those were some of the key things, as well as the collaboration that continues to happen with our IT and our information technology and our science and math teachers, which just creates a culture of sharing and openness between the different educators in our building.
Thank you.